Hello and welcome to the first episode of my new knitting podcast. My name is Neda and I haven't named this knitting podcast yet since this was kind of like spur of the moment kind of decision, so I haven't really figured it all out yet, but yeah, we're learning. So I thought that since this is the first episode, I would share something about me first. As I said earlier, I live in coastal Finland and in Turku to be precise. It's such a beautiful city. I really, really like it here. I live in kind of small apartment in the central Turku with my partner. Right now I'm working part-time job, but next autumn I will start my studies in University of Turku. I'm applying to study biology, which is one of my great passions besides of knitting and metal music. And I really enjoy speaking about knitwear and knitting and yarn, and I don't really have anyone who shares the same interest. So I thought it would be great to talk to my camera and then publish this. So let's see how that goes. That's about it. We should probably get started. And since this is the first podcast, I didn't really know how to choose what objects to show you as finished objects. So I have two FOs and they are both from April. So all my earlier projects I won't be showing here, at least today. And I will start with I will start with this, and most of you will probably recognize this. This is the Elisabeth Blouse by Petiteknit. It was quite recently published. I think it was in February or even March, and I really fell in love with the design, especially since it was knitted in smaller gauge. I really enjoy knitting garments with like small, maybe fingering or sport weight. Like DK is probably the heaviest knitwear I am willing to make, since I don't know, I don't really enjoy those really bulky sweaters. So that's why I was really intrigued by the Elisabeth blouse. And it has this beautiful color, which was also a plus when choosing the pattern. And this is made with Holst Garn Supersoft, which is, I think, fingering or light fingering weight. It has 287 meters in 50 grams. Merino wool, and then Titicaca, which is Holst Garn's lace weight alpaca. So I hold those two together, and with 4mm needles I got 21 stitches gauge, which wasn't what the pattern called for. And I guess I am a loose knitter or something, since I was using the recommended combination of a fingering plus lace weight yarn. But it wasn't that bad. I learned some things while doing this, but overall this was such an enjoyable knit. I think it was so fast and such a nice pattern. It was written in a really nice way, and the yarn is really beautiful. I don't know if the camera can show it, but the Supersoft is in colorway vintage heather, and the alpaca was carbon blue. And if I remember correctly, the vintage heather was like a dark blue with more bright blue spots. You can maybe, I don't think you can see it, but it has these more bright light blue spots. And then the Titicaca, the carbon blue, was more like really dark blue with green in it. And together they made this beautiful marled dark blue fabric, and which has also these like lighter, I don't know what to call this, like fluffies in it. And I just love the fabric, but I don't think it's for everyone. Holst Garn's yarn is really coarse when you first start knitting with it, and they say in their website that it has some spinning oil in it, so I was prepared for it to be coarse. But this has been washed, like hand washed, I think 3 times, and the yarn just bloomed beautifully after the first wash. And every wash ever since, it has just gotten softer, but it's still not, it doesn't feel like merino to me. It feels more like a regular wool, so it is quite coarse, and I don't have any problems wearing it next to skin, but I think if it's a really hot day, this could be a little bit irritating, but I don't really mind. But just keep in mind that if you're really sensitive either to alpaca or to coarse wools, this probably isn't suitable for you. But yeah, those 2 yarns made just, they look so pretty, and the fabric is so even and so beautiful, and it really plucked out beautifully, and I am obsessed with this. I want another sweater with this. But yeah, so I made this in size XS, which was supposed to be, I think, something like 90 centimeters around the bust, but since my gauge was a little bit off, this is more like 100 centimeters, which is a little bit oversized on me. And also I made it a little bit shorter since I'm not really that tall, so I thought I didn't want it to be oversized to every direction. It's just enough it's like wide, it doesn't have to be long. I'm not going to wear it now, but I will put some pictures here, what it looks like when I'm wearing it, at least one picture. And yeah, I think this is not my first sweater. I have made 2 or 3 before this, but this was the first like really successful project, which I just fell in love with. I don't know, it's really great. And since I was so in love with the pattern, I just decided to make another one right after the first one. And this time I already knew the pattern so well, I felt comfortable making some modifications. So this is my Elisabeth blouse number 2. Isn't it pretty? Yeah. This is made with drops alpaca, and mostly because I just saw this one colorway. I think this is called pearl gray. I just know the Finnish name, which is translated to pearl gray, so I'm not really sure. But it's the lightest of grays, but not the chalk one. It's still really gray, and I just really love this color. Gray isn't really my thing, but there is something about this like really light gray, which is almost white and has this like darker spots in it, which is just like does the thing for me. I don't know, I love this color. So the drops alpaca is, I think, 167 meters in 50 grams. And even though it sounds like a really light DK, it acts more like fingering. I think alpaca is a little bit lighter than wool. I can't say, don't listen to me, don't quote on me, but their website said that alpaca had something like 24 stitches gauge, and I needed like 23 stitches. So I was just like praying for the best, since I am a loose knitter, I think. And I sized down a half a size. So this is made with 3.5 millimeter needles, and it's pretty see-through, as you can see. But I don't mind it at all. I wanted it to be like really light, but if that's not something you want, you should keep that in mind. This is, I saw that a few people had used this for Elisabeth blouse, but they always combined it with mohair. Something about me, I can't stand mohair, so you won't be seeing any mohair in this channel. I think alpaca is also a little bit itchy, but it's not that bad as mohair is. And overall, I don't like the look of like mohair. It's so fluffy, it's not really my style. And neither is alpaca, but you know, this color, I just had to make it. So yeah, this is done. I think I got the gauge with this yarn and the 3.5 millimeter needles, and I made the size extra small. But I also I didn't finish the yoke increases completely. You can read it all in my ravelry, but at some point I stopped increasing for the body. So I had like maybe 20 stitches, I can't really say, less than the pattern called for. So this body is more narrow than the pattern, than in the pattern. But yeah, that's about it. The other modification I made was that I didn't size down for the ribbing, since it kind of looked funny. I don't know, I think it was the yarn. It was so lightweight that it just looked bad. Like there was like a really bad cinching in the waist. Like I wanted it to look like this, to go straight down. But if I decreased the size of my needles for the ribbing, it looked really cinched in, and it was really messy too. So I decided to rip it back and use the same needle size, and to do half twisted rib in a way that the knits are twisted but the pearls aren't, and I did the same for the sleeves, and I'm really happy with it. It looks really clean, and it's not cinching in at all. It's nice and square, as you can see. Yeah, I think it's everything about this project. And yeah, those are all my finished objects. And then I will move to the work in progresses. Just a second, I will have to drink something. I'm so nervous. It's raining outside. I hope you can't hear it, but if you can, I'm really sorry about it. I don't know how, but I managed to choose the one day in whole May that it's raining outside. So yeah, this is my first work in progress. Victor Sweater by Johanna Gerisch. I can't say it, even though I have studied German. she also goes by Kolibri by Johanna. And this Victor sweater is a all over lace sweater. I think this kind of lace can be called mesh. It has raglan construction, and it's knitted with, at least I am knitting it with cotton blend. So this is like a really summery garment, even though it has full length arms and full length body. The suggested yarn for this pattern was We Are Knitters Easy Breezy, which is 50-50 rayon from bamboo and cotton blend. And I think it's Aran weight, at least it's classified as Aran weight. But I am using this really weird yarn. And I say weird since I don't think it's quite an unusual yarn. You will see. It's Novita Soma, and Novita is a Finnish brand, so this was really easily accessible to me, and that's one of the reasons why I'm using this yarn. And also this yarn is discontinued. It has been for a while, I think, so I got it on discount, which was a really good thing for me. This is Novita Soma is also 50-50 rayon from bamboo and cotton, and it's classified as DK weight. It has 140 meters in 50 grams, I think. And I was able to meet gauge with this, I think. I'm not sure since I haven't measured it, but at least I am doing the smallest size, and this is giving me a lot of positive ease, as the smallest size was supposed to give me. So I think the gauge cannot be that far off. And this yarn is peculiar because it has this weird construction. I can't really explain it, but it's like it's not round, it's flat, like a ribbon, I think. But it's really soft, and it was really affordable, so that's nice. And I'm just using the black colorway. They only had like 4 colorways, so it's not that hard, and I don't think any one of you is going to use this yarn since it's not sold anywhere anymore, so it's not that important. But what is important is this sweater. Pattern had ribbing at the end of the sleeves. So these sleeves are really huge. You can't really see it, but they have a lot of positive ease, and there are no decreases in these sleeves. So they are really big, and they are supposed to end to ribbing. But I wanted a more, not casual, but more relaxed look. Kind of like not so clean look. So I just bind it off with like normal bind off. I don't know what to call this. I didn't do the ribbing. I just knitted the sleeves long enough and then bind it off. And it kind of seems as if they were becoming wider at the cuff, but they are not wider. It's just the way this fabric stretches, I think. So that's why they look like this. And I really like this. It's so airy and breezy and oversized. Otherwise, I tried to follow the pattern as well as I could, but I made a lot of mistakes. I don't know what is it about this mesh pattern, but I think every row I just lose stitches and create new ones, and I don't know, but it looks great still. And this is not supposed to be the neatest sweater, so I'm really happy with that. I'm slowly making progress. This was on the back burner for a while since I was making those Elisabeth blouses, but yeah, this is a really enjoyable knit. It's really fast, and you can just see it grow, and I really like making this, so I hope I will finish it before summer months. So because I really want to wear this. It's really lightweight since the air can just pass through, and I want to wear it during the summer. So yeah, that's the Victor sweater. And then the next whip is also my newest whip, which I started just a week ago, last Tuesday, and now it's Tuesday too. So, and this is the Louvre sweater by Petiteknit, and I'm using drops Lima, and only this. I know that the pattern calls for Peer Gynt, which is 100% Norwegian wool, and it's DK weight. But some people have used lighter weight yarns with mohair, and I think most of people who have used drops Lima, which is also a DK weight yarn, but it's alpaca and wool blend, and they have used mohair with it. But I was able to meet cage even without the mohair, and as I said, I don't really like mohair, so I just decided to only use this. It's more affordable that way too. And I'm not making this for myself, I am making this for my partner. And I know this is a kind of weird time to be knitting a sweater, like a DK weight sweater, since the summer months are about approaching. But I really wanted to knit something for my partner. I have made a few beanies, and he used those a lot during the last winter, and I was really enthusiastic to make a sweater for him too, since he is really knit worthy. He really uses the knits I make him. So I was really excited to make him a sweater, but I think I couldn't find appropriate pattern for him, at least like one that was made for men. I only knew some nice sweaters which were unisex or more for women. I know that it doesn't really matter, but I was scared that I would make it too small, or that it would be too tight on certain places or too wide on certain places. And I wasn't that confident in my skills to modify a pattern in a way that it would really fit well my partner. So I was just waiting for the right time, and the right time was now, in middle of May, before summer months. So yeah, this is the Louvre sweater. It's this really nice raglan sweater, DK weight raglan sweater with 1x1 ribbed mock neck, or I don't know what this is called, like a high neck, but not turtle neck. And that's about it. I'm using this same color you saw before. I think I am obsessed with this one color, which is this really light gray. The colorway is, I think, 9010. I can't say really. Just a second, I will check that. Yeah, 9010 light gray is the colorway. Drops Lima, as I said, is a alpaca and wool blend. It has 65% of wool and the rest is alpaca. It's a really soft yarn. It has, I think, 110 meters in 50 grams. And it's quite affordable. And that's one of the reasons why I chose it, since I wasn't really sure would this be a success or not. Or I was also a little bit hesitant that how itchy my partner would be. Would 100% wool be too itchy for him? Since I was first thinking about using Peer Gynt, which was the suggested yarn, but some people said that Norwegian wool is quite rough. And I have used Tynn Peer Gynt, or you can see it later, but I have some Tynn Peer Gynt, which is basically the same, just a lightweight version of the Peer Gynt, and it's really rough compared to this. And even though I don't mind it, I don't know how my partner will take it, so that's why I chose Lima. And this is the size XS, and I am precisely on gauge with this one. And I'm not making any modifications other than just making the sleeves maybe a tad longer and the body a bit longer. Actually, I am right now in the part where I have knitted the sleeves and the body to the point where I'm supposed to start ribbing. But I will, he should try this on, and then I will see if I start the ribbing or will I continue the stockinette for a while. I think I need to make like some stockinette, since this looks quite short. This would be like, this would fit me right now, but not him probably. Yeah, I'm really happy with this. As you can see, I have been knitting on this a lot during the last week. It's just a really pleasurable knit, really fast, since I'm used to making like light DK or even fingering weight project lately. And yeah, I can't wait that this is ready and I can give it to him. I'm really happy with this one, and I really want to make one for myself too. I think one of the reasons why I chose Louvre sweater was that I wanted this high neck basic sweater with DK cage, and I also want one for myself, maybe two even. I really fell in love with the version Petiteknit had, which was made with Coxmiller colorway. She used the dark gray, almost black colorway from Peer Gynt, and that was just really beautiful. I really want to make one. And to the next work in progress, let's see. So this is a small one. There isn't really much to show, but that's kind of the point of this whip, and you will know why soon. So yeah, this is the start of Moonset Tea by Ozetta. Moonset Tea, most of you probably know it, but I will tell you anyway. It's a drop shoulder fingering weight t-shirt with this beautiful v-neck, and it has I-cord finishes and also double knitting in the neckline, and it's really beautiful. And I just wanted a really simple black version of it. But something to know about me is that I'm not a fan of t-shirts nor tops in general. I almost always wear full length sleeves or I will put them like this. I decided to make the Moonset Tea, but I'm going to make it into a blouse. So just lengthen the sleeves. I think it should be simple enough. And I'm using Holst Garn. I made one purchase from them, and so I got the yarns for the Elisabeth blouse, and then I got this one huge cone of Holst Garn Coast, which is their merino wool and cotton blend, and this is just a black colorway. And I got this to make another project, and I will talk about that later on. But since I will not be using all of this to that project, I decided to cast on this, and it's looking like this right now. As you can see, it's quite see-through, especially since I'm holding it in front of my face. But when I put it on my skin, it's not that bad. And as I said, I don't really mind if it shows something. I really want this to be like a really lightweight everyday blouse I can just throw on when I want something a little bit nicer than my basic shirts, and I hope that I can wear this during the summer also, since I don't really enjoy wearing t-shirts, and this is a really light fabric. I'm using 3mm needles. The suggested needles are 3.25, but those aren't really that easily accessible in Finland, and I didn't really feel like getting a new pair of needles just for this one, since I already had these really old random metal needles. Usually I use birch needles, but these are from my grandma. And I have noticed that it's quite hard to knit anything with cotton with those needles, birch needles. They don't slide enough. So these are perfect for this project. So there is a reason why I haven't continued with this one. I am traveling to Norway next month, and I want something really lightweight to take with me, so the yarn doesn't weigh too much in my luggage, and so I won't finish it too fast. I will be there for a week, and I knit a lot, and I could probably like finish a sweater in a week if you just give me enough time. Usually I work almost full time, so I don't have so much time for knitting, but when we are traveling, it's a holiday, so I will have more time for knitting. So I will finish the yoke, and then I will let it rest and take this with me. And also I'm really scared that they will take my needles at the airport, so these aren't that valuable, these needles, so if they take these, it won't be such a loss. But I have to do something about this. I can't travel with this one. But yeah, I really enjoy the yarn, and it is supposed to bloom after first wash, and I did make a gauge wash and it did bloom, so it won't be this see-through after the first wash, since this is also this still has some spinning wheel oil on it. Also, I should say a word of warning: this, and especially the Supersoft I used in my Elisabeth blouse, those two bled a lot. Even after like fourth wash and block, the Elisabeth blouse still made the water like dark blue. I don't know if it was something I did, but something you should keep in mind if you want to use that. But I really like this yarn. It's quite soft, and it's affordable, and it's really lightweight, and it makes a great spring and maybe even summer garments. I want to use this more, and I'm actually planning a few projects where I want to use this yarn to maybe just in another colorway. So yeah, that's all I had about the moonset tee. So yeah, let's move to the next flip. And this is a kind of weird one too. So let me show it to you first. This is the Laulu shawl by Sari Nordlund, a fellow Finnish knitter, and this is for my mother for Mother's Day, which has already passed, but I had some problems with this one, so it's fine. I showed it to her and she was really happy, and she said that she can wait. So this has been I don't know how the saying goes. Is it back burner? To be on a back burner or to be a back burner? Well, anyway, you get the point. It's so pretty. This pattern is just wonderful, and one of the reasons why I chose this shawl over the others is that I think my mother would really like this, but also I really like this. I'm not a shawl person, but this one is really pretty. There is this one photo of Sari where she has styled this over her head, and I just fell in love with that. I really want one, but I think I will be needing a second version of this next autumn, since I won't be using like a really warm head shawl during the summer. And I'm still considering the color options. I would really like it in black, but I should own other colors too, so I'm still considering it. Also, the color she used, which was, I think, some kind of beige, if I remember correctly, was really nice. So yeah, let's talk about this version first. I have to see what the yarn is that I'm using, since this wasn't the yarn I knew before. I bought it from my local yarn store because my mother is really sensitive, and since I'm not that sensitive, I didn't really know what kind of yarn to use, and I didn't have the option to have her try different yarns, so I was left on my own to make a decision which yarn was the non-itchiest, I think, and I decided to go with a baby yarn, so a superwash merino yarn. And I really hate superwash yarns. I don't want to use them. There's something about them that just annoys me, the way they stretched and the way it feels, but I think this is a safe bet if you want a non-itchy garment. But there is also another problems with baby yarns, and at least with these ones, and it's that they have a really limited color selection, limited colors, or I would say that most of the colors are good for babies. As you can see, this is like a really baby blue, and they had baby pink and a baby violet and all those colors, but they didn't really have any earthy tones or anything I would really enjoy. And also my mother has a really different taste in colors than I do, so I was really struggling with this one, and I ended up with this like a really baby blue, and it's beautiful, but I don't know if this is really her thing. She said she likes it, but I was really struggling with that one, so I knitted it maybe there, and then I started to second guess myself with the color, and I called my mother and I showed this to her, and she said that she liked it, so now I'm continuing it. This is the Hjertegarn Ciao Trunte. It's 180 meters in 50 grams, at least according to ravelry. This is fingering. I don't think so. I think this is a DK, or at least both. But I was looking for a DK weight or light DK weight yarn, and this is really nice. I think I could have used this suggested needle size which was 4. I wanted it to look really neat, so I used 3.5 millimeter needles for this one, and I have no idea about the cage. I will start decreasing when it looks long enough. So right now it's looking like this. And in the pattern, Sari Nordlund has a point where she says to start decreases, but if you want to extend the shawl, you can work one more round of certain chart in the pattern. So that is what I'm doing. I'm working the chart 2 over again, and then I will start decreasing. So I have to make one of these sections more, and then I will start decreasing, and I think that's the perfect length, since this is the first ball of yarn and I have 2 of these, and this is running out real quickly, so I think I will have some leftovers, but this is a nice spot to start decreasing. It's pretty big already, as you can see. Yeah, and this is a really soft yarn, I must say. It's really squishy too. I think it's the superwash, but it's like really stretchy, as you can see, and therefore really squishy too. So it makes the most beautiful I'm blacking out. I can't remember what these are called. Palmikko in Finnish, but who knows what they are in English. Should I Google real quick? Well, you already know what's the word I'm looking for, but gables, yeah. So this yarn makes absolutely beautiful gables. And this is the first shawl I'm ever knitting, and this is the first gift for my mother. So this might be a success or not, you know. At least it's really fun. This is a really entertaining yet simple pattern to follow, and I just love the way it looks. I will put the picture of Sari wearing the shawl here, and you too can be inspired by this. Thank you. So the next work in progress, or should I say it was a work in progress, and then I realized my mistakes, and I have to start all over again. Let me start from the beginning. So I got this book. It's from Sandnes Garn, and it's their magazine for Tynn Peer Gynt. Yeah. And I just fell in love with this one sweater, and I had to make it. And also I'm a big fan of fingering weight sweaters, and there aren't a lot of those out there, at least with high necks, and I love high necks. So this one caught my eye. It's called the Kelly Genser, meaning the Kelly sweater, and they have also a DK weight version of this, but this is the fingering weight version. It's marvelous. It has these beautiful raglan details on it. You can see right there. The bottom is also like a really long section of twisted rib. I think the men's version, the ribbing isn't that long. I'm making the female's version, but it's so light you can't really see it. Yep. There you go. I started that one and I knitted it furiously for 1 week, and then I realized my mistake. I was off gauge since I didn't do a gauge swatch. So yeah, this is it, and you will probably recognize the color since this is Tynn Peer Gynt, and the colorway is 3819, and it's called That Orange Feeling. They also have this colorway with Sunday and other Sandnes Garn yarns, but I went with Tynn Peer Gynt, which is, as I said before, is the fingering weight version of Peer Gynt. It's 100% Norwegian wool, so this is not merino wool. It's way more rustic, and I think this is, it doesn't say, or does it? If I remember correctly, this is 210 meters in 50 grams. It's really funny, the label doesn't say it. Oh, it does. So this has 205 meters in 50 grams. So a fingering weight, a little bit heavier fingering weight than usual. I don't know, I never use color. I always wear black or really, really dark colors, such as this, like a dark green or dark reds. But I think it's the spring. It's because of the spring I'm craving color, and I had this vision of a high neck, really bright sweater in this color, and I had to make it. This is the start of my Kelly Genser, and this is the women's version. I made the size 2XS, which is supposed to be 160 centimeters, the bust circumstance. I should probably have learned before starting this podcast how to say circumference. So I just won't be saying that. You understand what I mean when I say around the bust, yeah? Don't you? Thank you. This was supposed to be 106 centimeters around the bust. This would give me like over 20 centimeters of positive ease, which is way more than I'm comfortable having, but you know, I didn't really want to modify the pattern, so I just went with it. But after that, I realized that I wasn't even hitting the cage. So this is made with 3mm needles, and the cage was supposed to be 27 stitches in 10 centimeters. And I can't remember what mine was, but it was probably like 24 or 25. Probably 24, and that's way bigger than I want it to be. And it probably wouldn't be such a problem, but the only problem is that the neck is huge. At first I had problems with the starting. So this is the Italian cast on, and I have never ever before made Italian cast on in the round, and I wasn't sure should I do the setup rounds or no. And I think I did something wrong, but there was this one string of yarn which went all around this, and it was just really tight, and I could just like pull it through, like out. The fabric didn't even collapse after that. So I had this just like one long yarn, and after that it was really stretchy. It was like gaping, there were like holes in it, and I tried to fix it with needle, and it was still really loose. But something positive was that I didn't have any problems fitting it over my head. I can show you just a second. So I didn't have any problems getting it over my head. But as you can see, I have a turtleneck underneath this, but there is a lot of room here. And this is just kind of like standing up funny. And most of the time it's not standing like this, which is like okay-ish. It's standing like this or this, and I don't like it, and I'm going to start over again. And my plan is to make the children's largest size. So in the same booklet they have a children's version of this, and they have sizes up to 12 years old. And this is the one. And the 12-year-old's sweater has, I think, 87 centimeters around the bust. So if I'm not hitting the cage correctly, it would be more than 87, and I think that would be great. It would give me something like 10 centimeters of positive ease, which sounds great. But I have to give this one some time off, since I was really frustrated with this, and I should frock this. When I'm ready, I will start this over again, and I'm really enthusiastic about that. But since I have to make some modifications, I am not confident enough to start this just yet. Those were officially all my works in progresses, as probably all knitters do. I too have some work in progresses which has been thrown to the corner and hibernated, I guess that's the word. But we will not talk about those. Instead, I will say something about my plans. I have a lot of plans, but I won't be sharing all of those, but I will say something. So when I was talking about my moonset tee, I said that I had some other plans for this yarn, and those other plans were the gorgeous late summer wrap by Knitting for Olive. And the only thing keeping me from making that wrap is the fact that I don't have 4.5 millimeter needles. Since before this I have only worked with fixed circular needles, I am considering investing into a nice set of like those more regularly used needle sizes, like 4 to like maybe 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, and 5, I think. And I really want the seeknit koshitsus. I did some research and I knew that I wanted seeknits, and they are fairly easily available here in Finland. There is one yarn shop which sells them. So since I'm a fan of wooden needles, I thought that bamboo needles would be really nice. The yarn shop which sells them was unfortunately out of stock with the koshitsus, so now I'm just waiting for them to be back in stock, and then I will probably buy the one set which has those sizes I mentioned earlier. So then I will own my first pairs of interchangeable needles. Yeah, and when I get those, I will start this. And I am planning to use this double, since the cage for the late summer wrap is, I think, 20 stitches in 10 centimeters with 4.5 millimeter needle, and I think this will be great for it. And I wanted it to be more like a lightweight wrap, and I didn't want to use mohair, so I thought using a really light fingering weight. This is 350 meters in 50 grams, so this is really light fingering weight, if this even is a fingering weight. I think this is called fingering, but so this doubled, I think it should meet the cage. And then the last plan I wanted to talk about is more like this general, so you saw my Victor sweater, the one with the mesh, and I have been really enthusiastic about mesh. I don't like using t-shirts or tops, so I need something lightweight to wear in the summer. So I have noticed that those patterns which use like mesh are really good for me, since I can have my long sleeves without being too hot in the summer. And some of you have probably seen this, but there is a new knitwear designer in the social media, and it's called Knit, and they have this trash sweater, and this is everything I could hope for. So I'm just waiting for the pattern to release, and then I will make like 50 versions of this. And then there is one other project that I would like to mention, and I can't remember the name of the person who made this, but I will put the picture here. And this is just gorgeous. It's the Hour Top by Rose Knitwear. So yeah, those are my future plans, and those are the most pressing plans, since I don't really have anything to wear for the summer, and it's already getting kind of hot here in Finland. So I'm really in the rush to make something lightweight I can wear. Yeah, that's about it. I hope this wasn't a complete mess. It probably was, but you know, next time will be better. I was so enthusiastic I didn't even drink my coffee, so now it's all cold, but that's fine too. If there is something you didn't understand, just drop a comment down below. I will write a comment to you which should be more clear than my my speech. And thank you for watching, and maybe we will see the next time. Bye bye.